Friday Night Lights at Ace. And Brent Cruz talks about his recent strong pro late model runs, and Trevor Ward will join us to talk about his late model stock opportunity. Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepperjack Kennels, is next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepperjack Kennels. I am joined this week by my host from the Bull Ring, Alan Dietz. I know he's not as great looking as Keely, but
no,
he will have to do for this week. But I'm very excited to have you on, because is this weird for you that I'm the host and you're the co-host?
It's very weird. I'm wanting to say all of this stuff, and
you're going to have to let me do it.
I feel out of control right now.
Well, we're coming off a big weekend at Hickory and going into another big weekend at Ace for the Cars Tour.
Well, that's actually why Keely's not here. I think with this short week to get ready for the race at Ace, I think it not only puts pressure on the series, but it puts pressure on the team. And I know we're going to look at the entry list here in a second, but traditionally Friday night races, the car counts are down a little bit because people's got to work and it's hard to go. There's 29 late model stocks and 21 pro late models.
I know. Keely was able to send us an updated entry list, and looks like everyone's using their vacation days to go to Ace.
And let me tell you, I don't know if you've ever been to Ace before. It is it's a tight, awkward racetrack. It kind of reminds me of Dillon in some ways, but I know there was a cars race there a few years ago that went, or last year I think it was, that went caution free. I don't think that's going to happen this week. I may be wrong. I don't want to jinx anybody, but I don't think that's going to happen this weekend.
Well, speaking of that, let's take a look at our entry list for Friday night, and we'll begin with the late model stocks. The first thing that sticks out to me is that there are a lot of driver changes.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird. Garrett Smithley is in the 14 car for Jared Fryer, but then you got a couple of drivers that are in because of injuries. Trevor Ward is going to drive for Lee Falk Racing because Isabella Robusto still recovering from that concussion she got at Hickory. And I don't know if you saw it or not, but Connor Jones, he had a terrible wreck at Dover and just slammed the wall. He's out with a concussion. So, you got a lot of drivers there that may be new to the Cars Tour, but not new to Ace Speedway. And I know when we talked to Trevor Ward, that I think that played a lot into why he's driving the car.
Yeah, but a lot of drivers that are probably going to be in situations that they're not exactly comfortable in. It's definitely going to be interesting. So who are our drivers to watch?
I think the driver to watch is, ironically, our guest on the show last week, Caden Honeycutt. He's come close to winning cars races before. He was able to put it all together the last time the Cars Tour raced there back in October. But, you would think with this race being in early May, the conditions would lend itself to being kind of like it was in October, whereas the first race last year was in August, and we know how hot it is and everything. So, there's going to be a lot of good drivers there. Carson Quapple and those guys are always going to be hard to beat, but I think Caden Honeycutt should have a real good run this weekend.
That's one thing that I feel like Keely has to, she can't play favorites, on the show. So I'm glad you're here to give us...
I'm not playing favorites. I'm just telling you I think will win.
You're picking... Yeah, well, I mean, you're allowed to have an opinion, I feel like.
No.
Okay, so now for the pro late models. Who are we watching?
Well, I think, obviously, Mike Hopkins, he's from Maine, but Gary Crooks, the Port City dealer here in the South, they've got the shop here in the Charlotte area. They've won the first couple of races, so I think Mike's kind of in a position now where he's like, hey, we've won the first couple of races. Maybe we race for the championship, and why not? And then
I feel like his adrenaline is probably still rushing from
I would imagine. And then, you got the Rackley War Cars, Dawson Sutton and Connor Zilish. They both ran really good at Hickory. Connor Zilish spun out and then came back and was in that wild finish there at the end. So, the thing I think that could hold all of these guys back, I don't think any of them's raced at Ace. I don't believe Mike Hopkins has raced at Ace even as long as he's been racing. So I think that could be the wild card for them.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your insights with us today.
Well, you didn't ask me about the other guy, and that's last week's winner, Caden Quapple, and I think that's where it could play to his benefit, albeit he's in a new car. The experience and having won at Ace before, that could help him get his first win this year.
For sure. Well, when we come back, we will talk to a driver with a big opportunity this weekend. That's Trevor Ward, and he will join us when we return.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety, providing the most advanced driver safety products to NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, and sports cars drivers. From grassroots to professional racers, HMS Motorsport has over 25 years experience outfitting drivers with the best gear on the market. Equipped with first-hand product knowledge, our experts are ready to help you select the best harness belts, seats, head restraints, helmets, and racing attire for your type of racing. HMS is even the exclusive importer for Schroed belts, Schubert helmets, and Valero base layers. Visit one of our stores in Mooresville, North Carolina, or Danvers, Massachusetts, or check us online at hmsmotorsport.com, where you can learn the details of our products and order online. Safety starts here.
5-star bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimal performance. The highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-star.
National Super Late Model Racing returns to MIS Sunday afternoon, May 7th for the Joe Shear Classic 200. See the ASA Stars National Tour for the first time ever on Wisconsin's fastest half mile, racing for $15,000 to win, plus Midwest trucks. Get advanced discount tickets at MISRacing.com. ASA Stars National Tour plus Midwest trucks. It's the Joe Shear Classic 200, the biggest race of the year. Sunday afternoon, May 7th. First race 2 o'clock. Madison International Speedway. Don't miss it.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepperjack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
Welcome back to Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepperjack Kennels. We are joined now by Trevor Ward. Trevor, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Well, we're certainly all very bummed to hear about Isabella and her injury, but we're going to choose to see the silver lining here, and a driver like yourself is getting an awesome opportunity this weekend at Ace. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a good deal. I'm grateful that they called me to be able to be a part of that. I hope we can do a good showing for them, of course. It's one of our home tracks as well, so I think we'll be pretty good. I got to thank Lee Folk and them for reaching out to me and being able to give me the opportunity. We're just a low-budget team, but we have good stuff and good equipment. We just don't get to show it always, but hopefully we can come in this weekend and put a good run together. We've been working pretty hard for it, and that's what we've had our mindset on. So we'll see how it goes and keep everything clean and have a good race.
Now, is this the stuff you've been racing at Ace, or is this Lee's equipment? And how exactly did the conversation get started about, this weekend?
I guess after Hickory, she found out she had a concussion, I'm guessing, and they reached out to me, and I didn't really know nothing about it, that they were planning on it until I think like last week around maybe Tuesday or something like that, and we all put it together. And we was going to run her car, but I think Toyota, they wanted to hold off this race, and they offered to pay for, give me opportunity to run my stuff with her number on the car, and so they can get some points and stuff like that. So, and I'm not in a championship run for anything anyways. I just go to win. So it worked out to where I'm going to run my own stuff, which is, good. We have a good platform at Ace, so it'll work out good in both parties. So, that way too.
Yeah, you and your team are coming off a pretty recent win at Ace, aren't you?
Yeah, we won the week before the season opener, and we had a good run we put together there, and we wasn't planning on racing. We was actually planning on going to South Boston, and they called it off, and we changed gears and went to Ace and run that Friday night, and then we ended up lucking up and got us a win. But everything's been really good. We picked off where we left off the last Cars Tour race. At Caraway, we almost had our first career Cars Tour win, and unfortunately just had some accidents right there, incidents, and we missed it by a little bit. But we're definitely looking forward to getting geared up and trying to get us our first Cars Tour run this weekend at Ace. So I'm pumped up about it, and I'm gonna try hard and put my head into it and do the best we can.
We talked a little bit earlier when the show started just about, to me, looking at Ace, it seems like it's a tough racetrack. Neither end is the same. Do you feel that way? I mean, did it take you a little bit of time to get used to it, and what are some of the quirks?
It's not really a big tire saving racetrack. It's big on, you have to save a lot of brakes, so it puts the driver in a little bit different category of just, it's not saving tires as much as it is saving brakes. But yeah, two different corners. It's a little difficult. I've been practicing and racing there since I was 12 years old. I'm 25 now, so I've got over 100,000 laps around the place, and it's been always like going home, so it's definitely difficult. You got to learn how to finesse the racetrack. It's not one of those that just comes natural, but there's a lot of them guys out there in the Cars Tour. They're good, and they'll figure it out, and they have enough stuff behind them and enough people behind them to help them, and it's still going to be hard, and it's going to be difficult to win, of course. Anytime in the Cars Tour, anywhere you go, it doesn't matter if you have an advantage or not. It's still hard to pull it off. So there's still a lot of variables, but yeah, it's definitely a different place, and it's going to come down to who's got the most brakes left at the end of the race, and who played it off smart. You can't fall back really too far there to save, because track position is really key, and it's hard to pass. So you kind of got to keep good track position and keep the brakes and keep the car under you all night. So it is a little difficult, but I think we can definitely come out with a good run, and I'm definitely, like I said, looking forward to it.
Well, before you joined us, Alan and I were talking about there's, several driver changes this weekend, and there were going to be a lot of drivers in situations that maybe they're not, familiar with or comfortable with. And that was before we realized that you would be with, your guys that you're used to racing with, on the weekends and at Ace. So I could see how, having that Lee Falk car and the Toyota backing, and Isabella's car, there's benefits to that. But I think that, you guys are going to be in a great place because you're going to be comfortable. You're going to know your car. You're going to know your guys. And it's probably going to be just like any other weekend, just, with a bigger entry list.
Absolutely. Though, I think really the only factor is now just trying to figure out if the car, like if you get a lot of cars on the track and keeping the track rubbered up and the sun getting on it and stuff like that, the track's going to probably change a little bit more than it does on a weekly show. And that's really our only disadvantage, because normal week down there, it's like 12 cars, 13 cars. And you put, 25, 30 cars on a racetrack, it changes a little bit, but I think we're real comfortable and we know the car real well. And I feel really comfortable about it. I'm glad we got to run our own car. We've definitely put the work in for it. That's where we was going before. We was actually planning on running that race, anyways. So, it didn't really change our plans any, just a number. And, I'm grateful that Lee Falk and them called out and called me out to do that. And, it means a lot to me. I hope we can definitely do a good job for them though. So, they can get some points and help their program out as well.
For sure. Well, Thanks for joining us, Trevor, and good luck this weekend. We can't wait to watch.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
You got it. Well, Brent Cruz will join us when we return here on Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepperjack Kennels.
National Super Late Model Racing returns to MIS Sunday afternoon, May 7th for the Joe Shear Classic 200. See the ASA Stars National Tour for the first time ever on Wisconsin's fastest half mile, racing for $15,000 to win, plus Midwest trucks. Get advanced discount tickets at MISRacing.com. ASA Stars National Tour plus Midwest trucks. It's the Joe Shear Classic 200, the biggest race of the year. Sunday afternoon, May 7th. First race 2 o'clock. Madison International Speedway. Don't miss it.
SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel are your all-inclusive motorsports warehouses with more than 450 product lines. They have everything to put you in victory lane, from professional racing to street performance. SRI and Stock Car Steel have you covered with leading brands as well as a large selection of steel, aluminum, and plastics. With locations in North Carolina and Indiana, access has never been easier. SRI has the world's largest inventory of used parts. SRI Performance and Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, your one-stop shops for everything racing.
Hey, I'm Brandon Ward, and you're watching Racing America.
Welcome back, everybody, to Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepperjack Kennels. We are now joined by our pro late model guest, Brent Cruz. Brent, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yeah, and we've been talking about getting Brent on the show for several weeks.
Mhm.
Brent, you're one of the Wilson Motorsports drivers, and I've got to know, do you feel like, because you're part of such a standout team, do you feel like you have more pressure on you during race weekends than maybe the next guy?
Yeah, I think you do, but at the same time, you know your car is going to be great every single time you're on the racetrack. So I think that pressure is kind of reversed in a sense, right? Because you're confident with your crew, and you know your car is going to be good when you're really on the racetrack. So that pressure kind of fades away for me, because I know the team has provided me with a race car that's going to be able to win, and that's going to be able to turn fast laps. So for me, I'm just always confident in my team, and I know I have a car that has a chance to win.
So looking back on Hickory, you're racing a guy like Mike Hopkins, who's had a ton of laps at Hickory over the last 5 years. I mean, literally a ton between the past races and the cars races. When you look back at that finish, you know, you lose it by basically a hood length. Is there anything that you look back on that you think you could have done different that maybe would have made the outcome, you know, be in your favor?
Yeah, I think I raced a little bit too hard in the beginning with the 25, and I actually gave myself some damage. And I think that really hurt our race car overall. We lost a couple positions right after that. And I think we were the best car on track before that, honestly, started riding. And just racing hard after a restart and got some damage. And I think that really hurt our speed. And I definitely had to work for it more, kind of use up my stuff more. And the 15 just really came alive. He had a great piece, and he was really good at the end. And I think, honestly, if we didn't have that caution, we would have had an even better shot. But definitely makes you want the next one even more when you lose by that much.
Well, that was certainly an exciting finish, and I'm sure you've gone back and watched the clip over and over again. But as a young driver, like we hear about film and football, do you go back and watch these races and go over them with your team week to week?
For sure. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I've watched that race, sadly, but it's great to watch for me because I find enjoyment in it, and I definitely see the places I can improve, especially heading into Ace this weekend. It just definitely gives me some confidence knowing how much work I've put in and how much work the team's put in, and I know we'll have great speed at Ace.
You know, kind of touching on what Jess was saying, I know when you're younger and you're driving the carts and you're driving the micro sprints and things of that nature, a lot of the cars have the GoPro up on the roll bar and stuff. Do you put one in the car? And I mean, can you actually tell anything about what you're doing, or even have a guy like Donnie Wilson or somebody sit there and say, hey, you're using too much steering wheel?
Sure. After every session, there's also a super neat thing called Dartfish. So it's where they film on top of about where the spotter stand is. And it'll be able to film you in whichever car you want to film with. So normally you pick you in the fastest car or the next fastest car if you're already the fastest. So that to me is probably one of the most helpful things. You can overlay the cars, so you'll be able to see, hey, I'm losing a half a car length going into turn one. I'm losing even less than that, and I'm losing off. And you can also put GoPros inside the car to see your wheel input and your throttle. So I think that's super crucial. But for me, I love the Dartfish because you can drop it to your email and you'll just be able to watch it as many times as you want. So I definitely find that the most helpful.
Jess, would you have ever thought that much would go into driving a car?
No, but I'm sitting here thinking how awesome it is that this generation of racer has this technology, and it's almost real time, and it's kind of comparable to what they do at the NASCAR races. And you're also part of this generation that I feel like we're seeing this wave of drivers that they are not limiting themselves to just one type of car, even one type of dirt, asphalt. And what is your schedule like for the remaining 2023 season? Are you going to continue to kind of, get your feet wet in all different forms of racing?
Yeah, that's the goal, is to just challenge myself as much as I can, to race as much as I can, and put myself in a new challenge every time, right? I always feel like racing the hardest thing with the hardest people just makes you a better race car driver. Obviously, I have the dirt schedule I have with some micro races at Millbridge locally and some other midget races that are yet to be confirmed, but definitely in the works, which is always super fun to me. And I feel like some people can say it translates and some people can say it doesn't. But for me, I think it speeds up your reaction time and you don't really have time to think, right? So it's super tough. So when you get in a midget and then get into a late model, the late model's super slowed down because the midget's just happening so fast in such a small little circle.
It's like me and Jess.
So for me, it definitely helps you out.
It is like me and you.
Well, I've got to think that, and I may be completely wrong here, but are you kind of choosing that stock car path, or would you, if the opportunities were there to get into a midget or a sprint car, would you go that avenue?
I would love to do both. I think the main goal is Cup, which is, I think, a lot of people's dream. But I'd love to do it on the side to the dirt stuff because I grew up doing it as well, and I love it to death. So I'd love to have kind of a mixed path, kind of like Alex Bowman or a Kyle Larson or kind of what Ricky Stenhouse does as well. I really like how their path goes as well as Christopher Bell. I love their kind of how they can run some sprint cars on the side, some micros on the side, and some midgets on the side, and also have a full-time Cup ride. That's the dream for me.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Brent, and we are really looking forward to watching this weekend, and good luck.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. So stay tuned, and we will close out the show after this break.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepperjack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, Together, we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepper Jack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Get up on your feet, race fans.
Can you believe it? Right now, racing, in my opinion, is as healthy as it's been in the last 15 to 20 years.
Just wanted to make that first lap.
Go! Race fans, the ASA Stars National Tour roars into Hickory Motor Speedway for an unforgettable night of racing action with the Tar Heel 250. Some of the best grassroots racers from around the country gather in the hills of North Carolina for the Thursday Thunder in the Foothills. Joining the ASA Stars National Tour will be your local Paramount Auto Group limited late models. Tickets to the Tar Heel 250 are available now at starsnationaltour.com. Don't miss any of the incredible racing action coming to Hickory Motor Speedway Thursday, May 25th.
Welcome back to Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepper Jack Kennels. Alan, Ace is a tough little racetrack and should be a challenge for the Cars Tour drivers this weekend.
I think it will be. Like I said, it's the shape is a little non-traditional. The banking is what I think is really different. It's kind of an odd transition coming out of turn 4. It tightens up down in turns 1 and 2. That's why I say it's kind of like Dillon, because it's egg-shaped. And, you know, like I said, I mean, with almost 30 late model stocks and over 20 pro late models, it'll be interesting. The highlights next week, that's for sure.
Yep. That is for sure. Well, don't forget this weekend's race at Ace is a special Friday night show, so be sure to mark your calendars for that. Alan, thanks for joining us and filling in for Keely this week.
I know, and good job not calling me Keely.
That's it.
I know it's hard to tell us apart.
All my notes say Keely, yeah. And I also want to thank Trevor Ward and Brent Cruz, of course, for joining us. And remember that replays of the show today and more go to racingamerica.tv. And be sure to check out our Racing America 24/7 channel, free on connected devices. And don't forget that our social channels for any breaking news in the world of short track racing, Cars Tour, and everything else, be sure to head over there.
I think you got it.
I think I got it. And so for Alan Dietz and I'm Jess Ballard. And thanks again for joining us on another episode of Cars Tour Weekly, presented by Pepper Jack Kennels.
What creates a winning combination? Quality, focus, discipline, and most importantly, speed. At Pepper Jack Kennels, we provide exceptional water and land training services for hardworking retrievers. From leading in the field to leading on the track, together we establish winning dogs and a winning team. Devoted to retrievers and motorsports, we are Pepper Jack Kennels. Visit us online to learn more.
Welcome to Raceface Digital Collectible Cards. Are you a driver or a team looking to expand your brand? Want to connect with your fans, give sponsors more exposure, and earn income from all card sales? Then Raceface Digital has you covered. Digitize your brand with 5 different collectible cards. Enrollment is now open to all drivers and all series. Visit racefacedigital.com today and use invite code RA1.
Hey gang, join Scott Hansen, myself, and a host of other drivers on what will be the largest short track party at sea. Sail Eastern Caribbean on the Norwegian Encore January 7th to the 14th of 2024. Enjoy unlimited drinks, a special question and answer session, and have a chance at racing Scott and myself on the go-kart track. Call Mark at Memories Travel at 262-527-1341 or or visit mymmtravel.com and click on the link to Pickles Bon Voyage link for information.
National Super Late Model Racing returns to MIS Sunday afternoon, May 7th for the Joe Shear Classic 200. See the ASA Stars National Tour for the first time ever on Wisconsin's fastest half mile, racing for $15,000 to win, plus Midwest trucks. Get advanced discount tickets at MISRacing.com. ASA Stars National Tour plus Midwest trucks. It's the Joe Shear Classic 200, the biggest race of the year. Sunday afternoon, May 7th. First race, 2 o'clock. Madison International Speed